Okay, 10 seconds in, we should have sound. So, welcome to the first stream of well, not officially the first stream, but because I did technically do the gaming stream last night. But this is the first crafting stream of 2023. And we're going to start it off with multiple small projects. Um, I did just create a new Tumblr that all of my projects, when I finish them, will have a picture taken and posted there to say, hey, I did this year. Hooray! Um, but let's go ahead and get started with the first of these small projects. This is going to be a pinback board. So what it is I have enamel or other metal pinback buttons. This is one of them. Um, and these are the ones that have this type of backing, the pinback. The other buttons I have are all enameled buttons, and they are the ones that have the just straight back pin with the little clippy that goes on the back. I've got them hung up on a cork board that I've put in a photo frame. This one is not going to be on a cork board because the pinback buttons have that they don't the pinbacks don't go through cork very well. Not unless it's really thin cork, which of course I didn't use really thin cork for the others because that's not gonna let me have a secure hold for them. So these will be going in or into another frame, and we are going to put felt fabric in the frame. And I got these two sheets of felt because I'm going to be doing two of these. Um, because of me, of course, it's, rainbows and rainbows. Um, and then I picked up some cheap, just photo frames from Dollar Tree. I'm just unwrapping one now. And these are what I'm going to hang those boards from, or hang the fabric in. So it's just an 8 by 10 frame. The fabric itself is actually 9 by 11. So it's going to give me some overlap, which is good in this case because the overlap means that I don't have to worry too much about things falling out. And we can see when we remove this, or remove the paper, we've got glass and a string of glue. There we go. And the glass is attached to this paper backing. That was a terrible idea for them to do that. I don't want the glass though because the pinback buttons are going to stick out some. We are, however, keeping the paper backing, which is torn, so it won't be in front of our picture, or our thing. What it's going to be is we're going to take the paper that was originally in there, we're going to take our fleece and put it, or felt, and put it down inside the frame. Then the paper that was originally there is going to go right behind it. Gives us a little bit of depth. Very nice so far. Now we're going to add back that paper that has the spacers. And we want those spacers in there to give it a bit of additional depth. We're leaving the glass out, and then we're going to put this back in. Now, you can see there's a little bit of leftover fabric, but I'm not too fussed about that because that leftover bit of fabric, we're pushing down the little pins, and then we're just going to push the pin down on the leftover fabric. And now we have our fully framed thing, which also has glue on it, because of course it does. Probably the same glue. What I didn't add back was the sheet of glass. I keep these for various projects around the house that just happen to need some glass. But what I could do is to help give this the full depth it needs in the event that it's not sturdy, is I could always put the glass between this one and the paper in front of it. And that will give this a nice full depth. In fact, I think I might do that anyway. I had a plan for the glass, but I've already got a sheet elsewhere, and this will help to make this a bit more sturdy. I will say these frames from Dollar Tree, if you have to treat them carefully, because I have had them fall apart on me, so you just have to be very careful how you handle them. Yes, I could get a good quality frame. That's what I did for my enamel pins, but I don't really need it for this project, so that's why I'm not really bothering. This is going to give me a much sturdier thing. It just means that when I put the pins in, I'm going to have to be careful not to jab them in wrong and hit that glass. But that's okay. This will all work very well for me. Okay, so now we have a much sturdier piece, and I'm going to go ahead and attach one of the pin back buttons to it. Now, let's see. Okay, so it will be hung this way, so this is going to be the top. So, I don't want these to just be nice, orderly rows. For one, my pins are different shapes and sizes. Okay, that's what I suspected might be the case. I'm going to have to take this out, undo all of it, and then put the pins in before I frame it. Okay, that's fine. I actually suspected that was going to happen. So, we're going to move on to the other one, and we're going to do the exact same thing. But in this case, we are going to attach our pin first. Now this one's going to be easier to tell top from bottom because it's got rainbows, and the rainbows are orientable. So, head. First pin added. What I could do if I'm smart is go and get the rest of the pins and do all of them on there before I continue with it, but I am not a smart man. You guys are all well aware of this. So, I'm just going to get it added, and then I'll take it apart and add the pins later. It's not like it's going to be a hard task. That's not gonna work. Where did that? There it is. A little piece of obsidian that I'll be using for the next project. Always hard to get this shrink wrapped plastic off. It's interesting methods to do so. In this case, a very, very fine point pen. Because I really like very, very fine point pens. And I always have one on hand. Lots of down. My backpack that's covered in all my buttons is not actually even in the room, so I don't want to have to go out of the room to go get it. So we'll just put the buttons on after. It's fine. But this will show the concept in action, which is what I want. So the fabric in first, just like last time. Get it set in frame. Paper goes behind it. The spacers go after. Then we're going to fold down that little bit of fabric we have left over and put our glass back in. So, paper I'm just going to pull out. And we're going to put because this one has the pin already in it, it's not fitting quite as flush because everything's going, there's something there. And while, yes, it's sticking out, it makes it hard to set it just flat on a surface. But there we go. That is pin backboard number 2. Would work great for what I need it for. Those will be hung up on my wall. Probably not today, because I've got other things I need to do today. Okay, so that's project 1 done. Project 2. We're going to turn some silver wire and a small piece of obsidian into a pendant for a necklace. And this is being done as a gift for my spouse's girlfriend. She, when I took her out with me to various shops, including my favorite one here in Tulsa, which is called Black Moth, she spotted this bit of obsidian at Black Moth and was like, "Oh, I love it. Could you turn it into a necklace?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, that's not going to be a problem." Which it won't be. So, okay, first things first, we're making a small loop out of the wire. The obsidian is going to sit in that loop. Then we're going to start taking the wire and twisting it around the obsidian. And we're going to push that down just a touch and pull it to be tight, because I want this to be kind of a cage around our obsidian. Now, at the very top, we're going to make another loop. Does not want to loop around this piece of obsidian because the piece of obsidian is fairly small and does not have sharp corners, which is admirable for a piece that's being made in jewelry, honestly, but it also means it doesn't make the little loops as well as I want. So, playing with it a bit because the big goal is I want it to have a tight fit so that the obsidian doesn't fall out. And I just realized that what I really need right now are something I can cut the wire with, which of course I didn't grab. With this then a gauge, this is 22 gauge, so very easily flexible, very moldable, but it's also very easy to cut, which is what I was really looking for when I made this, or when I got it. That around, and then hold on a sec. So yes, I am sitting in the corner. It's because there was a lot of glare from the sun through my window, and I didn't want to subject y'all to the glare. Okay, I got what I need right over here, so I don't have to go very far. You can see up here is the enamel button board. Those are the ones that have the stick backs, not the pin backs. Okay, so 22 gauge jewelry wire. You know what you can use to cut it? I also use this to cut yarn sometimes because I'm crazy. Okay, so that was clipped really quickly. And that means this bit up for use with other jewelry later, or other projects in general. Now that I've got this smaller loop, I can do what I was planning to. So tighten each of these. We want it to be just as tight against our obsidian as we can get it without breaking anything, of course. We don't want to break the wire. I want it to spiral 3 times across the face of the obsidian, just because it looks nice that way. Okay, so this is our framework. Now we're doing one final loop around the top, just like we caged the bottom. And here's where we're going to get a little fancy, because this is going to end up being the bottom. And we're going to, once we finish our little loop, feed the wire back through the loop and the spirals, which is why I really should have been smart and not done this as tightly as I did. Oh well, we'll fix it here in just a second. Okay, so feed through that first bit of spiral, tighten that down. Tighten down. We're going to feed it up. So we fed it through the back, and now we're feeding it up through the original loop that was made to start this whole thing. We're going to tighten it there. We're going to, again, make certain that our spirals are nice and orderly. Okay, so buckle that down. Now, I'm just using my thumb to reshape the wire because it is so malleable, so moldable. Okay, now that we've got that, feed it back up. So I was wrong. The original bottom is going to stay the bottom because to deal with this malleability, I'm having to feed it up. It came undone, and the whole thing entangled us. Goodness, it is so malleable. I can undo the whole thing. We might have to do this a different way, which is fine. As a friend of mine puts it, wabi sabi, which is apparently a philosophy in certain areas of Asia that basically say, hey, things are not going to be perfect, but they're still beautiful in their imperfection. So, we're going to do something a little different. That thing is here in just a minute. for the silence in this. This is me. So, there we go. Instead of doing top down, we're doing side to side, and it loops back, and here is. Yeah, let's twist it up times to tighten it down. But here is the little loop up top that my fingers are holding that will let it be hung on a necklace. So, that's two down. Okay. Third project. Last year I challenged myself to do a drawing a day. This year I'm going to be challenging myself to do a drawing a day, but that drawing a day is going to be posted on a new Tumblr I've created, which is called creative-surrender.com or creative-tumblr, whatever, creative-surrender. So, if you guys have been, if any of you follow my regular Tumblr, that's the original. But all of these videos will also be reposted there after I have uploaded them to YouTube so that people can view them there. But we're going to go ahead and do the drawing for today as part of our start on today's stream. Now, I don't get inspiration that easily for drawing. I'll see something and I'll look at it and I'll go, ooh, I want to draw that. And then I go, I do not have the technical skill to do that. So, we're going to do something pretty quick and simple. Most of my drawings are like 5-ish minutes, sometimes a little longer. I considered looking up a drawing challenge, but there's definitely going to be days when it is a particular challenge or where that challenge I just don't want to do that drawing. So I'm not going to do a drawing challenge, especially since I will be participating in Inktober because all of my drawings at this point are ink. So periodically have to put up with me stopping and rubbing my hands. Um, my hands have been getting very cranky with me lately, which is not fun. But c'est la vie. So, fairly ornate looking. It's a plastic Halloween decoration, but still, it looks very pretty. Um, Lamp hanging above my desk, and it just seemed like the thing I want to draw today. It's the black with the candle, fake candle, that's hanging on my wall. So there's my drawing for the day. Sorry for the silence again. Okay, so done. In are done, and we've been streaming for 30 minutes. I want to hit an hour, so we're going to work on the stocking for my kitten Inkidu, which we are mostly done with. I had to stop on it for a little bit because it was Christmas Eve and then Christmas morning, and I still didn't have the stocking for my spouse's girlfriend done, which, by the way, was my super secret project that I was not doing on stream because she periodically watches my streams. Um, so we're just going to work on Inky's stocking. Going to adjust just a bit there. Now you guys can see me crocheting. Okay. I still haven't tested the external camera with this laptop. Uh, I'm testing things bit by bit as I go along with the laptop, so that's why there's things not done or why I'm not using the external camera. I did, thanks to Christmas being over, finally have the opportunity to rescue my crafting area, so that's nice. Kids was like, "Why is his stocking so big compared to the other cats?" And I'm like, "Because the other cats are commercially made tiny stockings for kitty cats, and this is being handmade by me and is obviously not commercial in any way, shape, or form." So, I mean, I guess it's commercial in that it is being made for what is effectively a commercial holiday at this point. Because let's face it, most people that are celebrating Christmas at this point are not doing it for religious reasons. They're doing it because it's one of our big holidays in the US and elsewhere. And I mean, it's nice to have a holiday where you give gifts and receive gifts and you spend time with your family and you eat tasty food. Um, Especially in the middle of winter when it is, well, today it's not dark and cold and depressing, but sometimes it is, and depending on where you are, it might be. So today it's in the 60s because I live in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma weather does what it wants. Like that Ron Swanson, I do what I want thing. Here, if we are going, hey, it's winter, it should be, you know, X. No, Oklahoma weather goes, okay, well, I'll take that under advisement. But, okay, so we are going to east, and then we are actually going to really quickly turn this inside out, and we're going to join these two ends we've got together and crochet them into one piece. Crocheting seams together is one of the ways that I get around the whole, oh, you have to sew things. No, I don't. I'll just crochet two pieces together. Every now and then it runs me into trouble, but this time it shouldn't. They're the same number of stitches, so it should be fine. And even if it's not like the kitten's gonna care. The kitten's gonna go, ooh, new toy. And then maybe once he's older, ooh, there's treats inside this. Right now, he got toys for Christmas. And then yesterday, I found a different toy for him, which has already proven invaluable in terms of getting him to stop or getting him to not attack the other cats as much because now he has a toy that he can bat this. It's one of those, I think they're called cat tracks, where it's a plastic circle with a ball in it. And the one I got for him is a three-part circle with a ball in it. So hopefully this spares the poor older cats who are that they're not that old, they're like 6 or 7, but hopefully it spares them some of the oh my gosh, let's play, I'm going to pounce you and bite you energy that Inky has. Oh, you exist, I exist, let's play. The rest of this project, by the way, is going to be done from uh, the inside, and we'll turn it right side out when we're done. It's going to be a pretty simple thing because all I have to do is the heel, and then it's just crocheting in a circle over and over and over for the leg. The heel I'm going to do with shaped stitches. Um, so I will do uh, not single crochet, but the slip stitch. Words are hard, guys. And words are always hard. Funny that I make my living talking to people. It'll be done in slip stitch until I get to the part where it needs to get slightly bigger for the heel. Still setting off fireworks, even though it is after New Year's Eve. Celebrating the coming year, or celebrating the year that is now here, but we have not really had anything happen yet. And given the past several years, let's hope nothing happens. Let's hope for this being one of the most boring years ever. That would just be nice. So, the slip stitch is done by not by when you form your loop, you just pull right up through that loop. You don't do a second loop on your hook. So, in, down, back through, in. Crocheting at this point into a edge. So I'm crocheting into the sides of the original stitches. Makes for an interesting thing because sometimes you have to figure out where on earth the stitch previous that you're going into was. But this is all the slip stitches. We're going to get slightly bigger here. And instead of doing slip, we're going to start doing normal crochet. But not for very far. We're just adding that tiny bit of bulk, and then we're going to swap to half double crochet. So yarn over, pull through all of them together. But what this is doing is making just slightly taller stitches with each new one. And I'm doing that so that the heel will be a slightly different shape. This yarn has not been the most behaved for me. It's not so bad if I'm just doing normal single stitch, but the minute I get into a fancy, not really, stitch, it starts misbehaving. Because this yarn is a brat. Mostly it's very old yarn, and so it doesn't have quite the same cohesion um, of the newer yarns, but it's fine. A little bit further to go with the half doubles. The big thing is, since I'm not using a pattern or anything, I'm just kind of having to guess at where the stitches change, merge, etc. Looks like it's three more half doubles, and then I'll switch to single crochet for just a little bit. I believe it was like 3 or 4 stitches of single, and then I'll go back to the slip stitch. Probably going to end here in about 10 minutes. Hoping to have the heel done by then, and then it's just straight up and down for the leg. So here, can I switch back to single crochet? Uh, but yeah, I've got stuff I've got to go out and do today. Not a lot, but still, you got stuff to do and limited time before work to do it. So have to cut the crafting stream a bit short, but I want to make it at least an hour. Um, so all right, we're back to our slip stitches until we reach the top. Once we've reached the top, we will swap to single crochet for the rest of the way around, except for when we reach that bit at the bottom of our heel, which will still be getting the half doubles. Mostly I'm switching to single crochet because I really, really dislike crocheting into slip stitch because it's such a tight stitch. And I mean, part of that's just I crochet very tightly, but given I mostly make plushies where you don't want the stuffing to show through, that's kind of a good thing. But on projects that don't need it, it's a bit of a pain. Heck, even on projects that are plushies, it can be a bit of a pain. You just kind of go, well, and do what you have to. Kids were looking at it going, why does it look so weird? I'm like, because it's a project. gonna look. This is what I meant about crocheting into a slip stitch. They are a pain and a half to do. And coat fighting me. Weirdest stocking. Once it's done. Just saying. And then I get to make two more with different yarns. Really attention today. Always when I'm doing the crafting, always. It's like, oh, Mason's engaging in creativity. Got to stop him. I hear my spouse going, Mason needs to wake up. Mason's been awake. Mason's doing his crafting stream, but spouse doesn't know that. Gab is very dismayed because she doesn't need to come in my room all the time because I was trying to sleep, and she'd already woken me up to request to be let out of my room, so she doesn't get let back in until I'm done with what I'm doing. I use for human stockings does this in a really novel way, how they do the heel. What it does is you switch to doing the back and forth rather than in the round. I mean, you're supposed to have been doing back and forth the whole time. You're just, it's something that's crocheted flat and then sewn together, which is part of why I didn't want to use it for the kitten stocking, because of course not. But what you do for the heel is you just go back and forth and back and forth, um, and you decrease on each one. So as you're going back and forth and back and forth, you end up with a triangle, and then once you have your triangle, you you then increase back and forth and back and forth. So you got two triangles with their tops together, and then you sew the edges of those two triangles together, or if you're me, you crochet them together, because again, I don't want to have to sew more than I have to, at least not on a project I'm doing for crochet. Sewing projects, I'll happily sew as much as I need. You guys have seen me hand sew all sorts of things, and I've got some really cool patterns that I want to do something with later, but not right now. Right. Yeah, it's about the same either way. Sorry, making sure that my sides matched. Kitten stocking is going to be wonky because, well, again, not using a pattern, not really pre-planning things, just kind of figuring it out as it go. We're going to do one more round, and then we'll end the stream. And we'll see if I get a chance to work on this during the coming week. If I don't, that's fine. Um, on the new Tumblr, I will have certain days where I post something. Um, like I do plan to post for work in progress Wednesday, stealth promo Saturday, and then Sunday on the new Tumblr I plan to do a artist spotlight that is for a different creative that is not me. So see how it goes. Then we swap. All right, back to our half doubles, and you can see. Well, I'll show you in a minute when I've got this round finished. But with each row of half doubles, the section that I'm doing them in gets a little longer than the rest of the project, and that's for a reason. So later today, I need to get my dinners for the week cooked. I need to take down the Christmas tree and all the ornaments and stockings and get them put away. I need to take pictures of the finished stocking for Luna. Uh, a bit wonky compared to the others, but she says she likes it, so okay. If she likes it with the wonky leg or wonky foot that's shorter than everyone else's foot, so be it. I don't know if y'all could hear it. I just always announce it when my knee pops like that. Mostly force of habit. Because for a long time, whenever my knee would do that loud pop, my spouse would go, "What was that?" So I just got in the habit of announcing that was my knee, or that was my ankle, or that was my hip, whatever had chosen to pop at that point. So we're going to flatten this out. Flat, flat, two, 6, 7 more half doubles. Okay. Counting time. That is not a half double. Yarn over. Now counting time. 1, again. But it was actually 6. So we're swapping to our singles now. More stitch and that. So let's show you guys what we're working with here. See how our heel is longer than the top of the foot. And then, since I want it to hang like this, we're going to keep doing that until the heel is a good ways longer, and then we'll start going up with the leg. All right. That said, I do want to thank those of you who came out to join me tonight. I hope that you had a lot of, or today. It's not quite night yet, but I hope y'all had a lot of fun watching. I got a lot of little projects done, and thank you guys again for showing up today. Thank you for being a support for me, for helping keep me accountable with the projects that I'm doing, and I hope you guys all have a beautiful, happy new year that comes with opportunities to create, the security to have the supplies you need and to have a place to do them, and the time to actually make things. As Zero says, the world needs more cool shit. So let's make it this year. I'll see you next time.